You talk about the Vioxx settlement, and that was like maybe a way to show people about how here was a drug that was created. They knew there were going to be certain side effects, but it reminds me of that line from Fight Club, right? Where Edward Norton goes to look at the wrecked car, and he said it's simple. They take how much money it's going to make versus the probability of a settlement and how much the settlement's going to cost. If one number is bigger than the other, they go with the drug. Is it that simple? And do you use that Vioxx as an example of what the pharma industry does of making money versus liability?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they see it as a cost of business. I think they go in trying to develop drugs that are going to be ideally of some benefit compared to a previous drug. But what often happens, Brian, in these trials is that harms start to come out, and we've seen historically that they have been aware that there are certain harms, with these drugs that can even kill people, like such as Vioxx, which ultimately was thought to be responsible for the deaths of maybe 60,000 Americans.
More than the Vietnam War.
And hundreds of thousands of heart attacks, right?
Right. More than the Vietnam War casualties.
Well, yes.
And yet most Americans probably don't even know that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Merck knew, right? Their scientists knew that this was going to cause harm, but they, as legal entities, they were there to try and utilize the system to maximize profit, to try and hide the data on the harms, sell it as a really effective drug, better than ibuprofen. And ultimately it was found that was all found to be false, and they got fined close to $1 billion. But they ended up making more profit from the sales of the drug, right? A lot more, so that they see it as a cost of business. And then nothing changes in the system to stop this happening again, and no one got fired, no one lost their job. They probably got promoted, I suspect, some of these people who are behind Vioxx. So when people understand that, and that's been going on for a very long time, then, you ask me, like, what do 8 billion people in the world need to know? They need to know this stuff, right? Because most people wouldn't find this acceptable. We live in democracies, and they're only able to sustain this system because of the lack of knowledge around this sort of stuff. But what they do is they will deliberately try and suppress this information getting out. And that even means capturing media, capturing politicians, capturing regulators. And I've come up with this term, which even Richard Horton referenced in The Lancet, because he came to my talk in London when I discussed all of these issues. The drivers at the root of this, or one of the main drivers at the root of many health problems going on in society today, even the suppression of democracy in many ways, is a psychopathic entity. So I call it the psychopathic determinants or drivers of ill health. Because the way that many of these multinational corporations make money is often behaving as legal entities in a psychopathic way. So callous unconcern for the safety of others, incapacity to experience guilt, deceiving people, deliberate lying, conning others for profit. So they tick all those boxes. So for me, I think that is something that people need to try and understand, because it also explains the cultural problems we're also facing right now.
Right.
Where we have people increasingly have less access to the truth. But also, Brian, we discussed this even before we started the show, I think the polarization of views around all of these things means that we are losing our capacity also for empathy. So for the human being, what it means to be human, this is not good, right? Losing access to the truth, being less empathetic. It's a recipe for chaos, it's a recipe for anarchy, it's a recipe for violence, verbal and physical violence. And that's my biggest concern, is that society is heading down that direction because we are ultimately being influenced by psychopathic entities.
And pharma is at the top of that list.
100%.
Because
Absolutely.
of the money involved. It's that simple.
Yeah. But if you take it further, it's the economic system that has allowed this to happen. Right. Maybe by stealth over time, they have behind the scenes, I talk about this increasing visible and invisible unchecked power. The invisible power is what they're doing behind the scenes, where they are influencing regulations, They are talking for, they use this term, which is propagandized about, we want small government, we don't want big government because they are nanny state and they're interfering with our lives. They manipulate people through this sort of terminology. That comes from the corporations, right? I'm all for personal responsibility. I'm also for freedom of choice, 100%. But to exercise personal responsibility, to make choices, you have to have knowledge, the right information, and you have to have choice. When it comes to things like, for example, obesity in the food environment, you also have to have access to healthy food, and it needs to be affordable. And if you don't have all those four, you can't exercise personal responsibility.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I am just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's also been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just in overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you got to pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.